Um, my biggest karmic lesson, biggest, most worst, most important, most I paid for it, most the worst thing I ever did, basically, where I had to go through a karmic lesson. I don't think I'm still paying for it, but in a way I am, because these torments and everything that has happened up until this point where I am, I ended up here a because I interfered with the universal law. One specific universal law that says it is illegal for anyone to live off someone else's energy. I didn't break the law per se, my sister did, but I had to, because I was put in a position, I was interfered with when my sister asked me to carry her burdens. By so doing, she was living off my energy and she was breaking that universal law. But since we know that in order for karma to take effect, you who has been wronged has to go through a karmic lesson to learn and realize how you were wronged, why you were wronged, when you were wronged, who wronged you, and why they wronged you. And in that way, karmic law is able to be effected by going back and taking all that energy back from you for you and giving it back to you. But it will only do so that you, when you don't know how things happen, when things happen, why they happen, you risk a chance of them being repeated, which is what happened to me. Not only did my sister break that law, it kept repeating. She kept repeating it. And not only did she do that on her own, she brought people, my family, and everybody else to do the same thing to me over and over and over again. So it became a cycle thing where I couldn't escape because I had been put in a situation where I was now carrying everyone else's burdens. And for them to let me go, for them to release me from carrying their burdens, they were going to fight. They were going to fight tooth and nail to keep me in that position because they understood that should I not carry that burden, what happens? That is karma reverses. One, that is all the energy that they stole from me reverses. Two, they now have to carry their own karma. That energy that they refuse to carry for years will have to be carried by them. And they would fight me tooth and nail to never ever get out of that situation. And hence, I am still here as much as I'm awakened. I'm still here. They're still tormenting me. They're still trying to fragment me. They're still trying to get me into a situation where they can keep me here. They did the most. They reversed as much as they could. They they would do anything to keep me in this position. And not only because of it's just her who was the first person to wrong me. She she managed to crack me open in order for them to all come in and siphon and have me carry their burdens. And not only that, They did it on a large scale, on a large world scale, but then she does it with the devil himself, Uncle Omen, where they use my energy to build a layer of earth where they're going to basically be able to do whatever they want there because they would have karma switched off. So it's bigger than just her, but it is her first move when she did that, when she managed to crack me open enough to carry her burdens. And once I carried her burdens, the next story was, now you carried my burdens, you're going to have to carry for everybody else. You can't say no. Despite the fact that I refused, despite the fact that I refused, they managed to do it by wiping my memory every time they did it. So I had to learn all of that. I have to remember all of that um, wrongdoing towards me in order for karma to take effect. And basically, they broke the law of where the universal law that says you are not allowed to live off of someone else's energy. And what does that mean, really? It means you're not supposed to be one as a person, as a being on the someone else is not supposed to let's look at it this way. There's two people. There's you and there's the other person. For you, you are not allowed to ask somebody else to carry your burdens. That is, you're not allowed to ask somebody else to help you. You're not allowed to ask somebody else to help you. Help you. You're not. And people today live their life with that kind of attitude freely. So they don't understand that once they do that, they are basically living off of someone else's energy, and they're creating a karmic debt towards that person. Two, that other person as well is not allowed to ask you to carry their burdens because they are creating a karmic debt as well on their side. So you would ask yourself, but then what if I do need help? Where should I get help? You were never meant to interfere with someone else's program in the first place. When you need help, you ask the universe. That is, you ask as a program, you ask the operating system. As a human being, you ask God Himself. And He will assign help accordingly. That is, He will talk to whatever program that is able to provide you the best help to come and help you. That's what angel programs are for. That's what ancestor programs are for. That's what God, God, God and Goddesses programs are for. That's what your spirit program or spirit team's program is for. Not you using and tapping someone else's program and disrupting their process by asking them for help. You're supposed to learn. You're here as a program to learn to be the best as you can be in a program format that is in your spirit format and in your physical format. You are not allowed, or it is illegal for you to ask someone else to go and, because what you're essentially doing, let's say there's program A and program B, and program A is trying to run its program, you are basically stealing energy from this program. When you ask someone a program to help you, you're stealing energy, processes, and knowledge from that program into your program. And in the spirit, in the universe, it is you breaking the law, and you're creating a karmic debt, and you're going to have to pay for that. It doesn't matter how long it takes. The longer it takes, the worse it's going to be for you. The more you keep asking people for help and not standing on your own whatever's that you have, whether you have 2 feet, 2 legs, whatever it is that you don't have, whatever it is that God gave you, if you're not standing on that, that is your problem. That is your karmic debt that you're going to be creating. And I had to learn the hard way. I'm still learning the impact of opening myself up to carry other people's burdens. And here I am today. And I was warned. Father warned me. He said, you don't have to do that. When my sister was asking me, she says to me, I'm tired. I'm always tired. I'm sickly. I don't have energy. I'm not well. So I won't be able to even work because I don't have enough energy. So you are doing well. Everything is working out for you. Can you please help me? And I'm like, no, I can't help you. You're supposed to be doing this yourself. I knew that much. And he's like, but yeah, I can't because of, you can see I'm not well and whatnot. And I refused. But then how she gets me is she comes to me one day again and she's like, come on, you should be able to help me. Why don't you want to help me? You have all this energy and you're not using it for yourself. You might just as well help me with it. And I'm like, no, that's my energy. You should go and do it yourself, right? You should go and get your own energy. And she's like, come on, aren't you a child of God? That's the question that she gives me. Aren't you a child of God? Aren't you a good Christian? Be a good child of God. Be a good Christian and be a good child of God and help me. Now she got me. Be a good Christian, be a good child of God, and help me. And I was pondering it. Father comes online and says like, no, you don't have to do that. And then I argued with my father. I was like, not argued in that argument, but I was like, Father, but she says I must be a good Christian. When I must be a good child of God. Father was like looking with giving me that exhausted look, like you already are, dear. But he can't tell me that. He cannot interfere to that level. But he was like, you know what? You don't have to do it. But then he goes away, right? And he comes back and he says to me, if you do it though, you must know that you will have a karmic lesson. And I was like, what is a karmic lesson? And he can't tell me again. My sister is there, is watching the whole conversation. She's able to see Father, right? And she's smirking. She's smirking at Father. And Father's looking at her with those eyes of, you. But eventually Father says, if you help her, you will get a karmic lesson. I'm like, what is a karmic lesson? It's like, I can't tell you that. You're going to have to figure it out. And I was like, a lesson. It can't be that bad. I should have known that a lesson is just as bad as paying that debt. Perhaps even worse. Because, not really though, but it can feel like it's the worst thing that you're going to have to go through. Because for me, this whole thing is twofold. The lesson is twofold. One, I had to live my whole life carrying other people's burdens. One, that's part of the lesson. Two, now that I want to get out of that burdensome whatever, they're not willing to let it go. They're not willing to let me go. They're not willing to let me get their burdens off. They're refusing for that. So now they're trying to do as anything and everything to make sure that I never take off that cross that they make me carry. It's just the same as Yeshua carrying that cross. It's the same thing. He's also carrying the same cross. He's carrying the cross of, which is again another setup that they did for him, is they said something like he died for the sins of the world, of people. There's no way the universe will say something like that. There's no way in the universe when it says it is illegal to live off someone else's energy. There's no way Father would have planned for his son to carry everyone else's energy, everyone else's burdens. There's no way. because in the universe it is illegal. And they understand that all of this Jesus is carrying our sins bullshit. As soon as I let go of this shit, everyone else who's been living on that premises is fucked, in the sense of you're going to be carrying your own fucking burdens going forward. No one is for carrying that burden for you. You're going to have to be paying karmic debt to Jesus himself and myself as well. That's all that there is to it. That's all there is to it. Because they knew. The devil knew what he was doing. Yeah, the rest of you are going to be in on it because, I mean, unfortunately, the universe has to balance. There has been an imbalance in the universe because of that premises of Jesus has to carry your burdens. Jesus has to die for your bloody sins. I mean, what the fuck? Who the heck do you guys think you are, having someone carry your burdens? Having someone die for you? And yet, most of you don't even have acknowledgement to him. Most of you go around living a life that doesn't even honor him. And every time you make a sin or you do something wrong, you like, Jesus died for my sins. I was like, Father, what is this shit? When I learned about it, I was like, what's this? It's like, yeah, that's your uncle. They did that. The devil himself. And people don't realize just how much debt they've been creating. The concept of debt, even this so-called physical world of, oh, debt is good for you. Debt is, you can be rich by living on debt. What is Robert Kiyosaki's bullshit? I fell into that as well sometime. Not so much though. I went and bought my own home. Fuck him. I just couldn't understand that concept. Right? This Robert Kiyosaki and these people who say you can create businesses and whatnot on debt. That's the devil's way. And when this karma reverses, which is already starting, you cannot stop that shit. Guess what? However you earn that shit over other people's backs, you're going to pay for it. Those businesses are going to fall. Those things that you carry, the homes that you bought with other people's debts, money and whatnot, it's not the same as if you have been putting in an effort to create that wealth for yourself in some way. But I'm just trying to explain to you that that concept is coming from where? Yes, there is a way for you to be able to use a borrow kind of way of doing things and paying it off gradually, so because you're paying off your debt, right? It's not the same as someone else who's creating all kinds of debt and using debt to pay debt and debt to pay debt, and basically this person eventually ends up having this big debt, right? And they have to pay it somewhere. There's a debt that they're gonna have to pay. And this is how Uncle Allman and Imposter Goddess Sister go about saying they can avoid karma. They can avoid karma. They can. That's why they're creating this debt. They think they can avoid that debt or the karma that's gonna come for them to be able to play that debt. And this is why they're fighting so much for me never to stand up. Well, they fought and I fucking won. And I'm still going to keep going. And for me, I don't give a fuck. I said to Father, you know what? This shit is two ways. It's either the one way, your way, or the fucking highway. And I'm not afraid to take the fucking highway. But my highway is to my home with my mother and my father, and everyone else's highway, well, it will depend. There's no choice. There's no negotiation here. There's no negotiation here. I said to Father, we don't negotiate with terrorists. It's the American way, I think. But anyway, that's how it is. That's how it is. So you don't go creating karma, bad karma, and saying Jesus died for your sins. All those people who've been living on that premises, who created all this karma or bad uh, debt, karmic debt, they're going to be paying for it. You're not allowed to live on anyone else's um, energy. What you're supposed to be doing when you need assistance is to ask God. What you're supposed to be doing when you need assistance is to ask your guardian angels. What you're supposed to be doing when you need help is to ask your spirit team if you have. You don't know, but just ask God. God will assign whoever needs to assign, whether it's a spirit team, your guardian angels, the archangels, whoever it is, to assist you. You're not supposed to be expecting people to take care of you. You're not supposed to be expecting people to provide for you. There must be some reciprocity back towards that person caring for you. It's like he cares for you, but you still also use your energy to care for them in some way. They might be buying the house, the food, way paying for the house you live in, the home you live in, but you, on the reverse, are doing something for them to be able to pay back the fact that they work hard for you. Let's say it's a situation of husband and wife. You have to pay back that part of yourself where the wife will probably be a what do you call a housewife, making sure that the home is well cleaned and food is cooked, children are okay, the home life is taken care of by her. Well, he takes care of the the work life, and providing for the rest of the family with what he earns. There's a balance. Everybody's playing a role, and the children as well are not expected to be doing some sort of hand me outs for the rest of their lives. This whole thing of parents spoiling their children and never teaching them to step up and be on and start doing things themselves, like even simple things like chores within the home. It's what you're creating a karmic debt to your children. And how that's going to be paid is when you die and this child hasn't learned how to clean, hasn't learned how to take care of themselves. Guess what they will be going through? Karma. They'll be going through karma, because now the person who used to be cleaning for them and cooking for them and doing all this shit is gone. The next person who has to step in there will be like, I don't have time for that shit. You're going to be doing your own thing. And it's going to feel like to them that they're being oppressed. My mother used to clean for me. My mother used to do this, laundry for me. My mother used to do. This is why these children end up saying things like, my stepmother is evil. If she's not evil, she's teaching you a fucking lesson. Grow up. Not necessarily all stepmothers are evil. Because of you were spoiled. They spoiled you. Your mother didn't give you the skills, which she was wrong as well. They were supposed to help you develop the character that you will need to sustain yourself in future without them. But what did they do? They spoiled you rotten. It's not a bad thing to give things to your children, but they need to learn responsibility and accountability. They shouldn't just be getting shit just because of they are your children. They should be working towards those things. They should learn how to do those things. Let's say this child is not going to be married, right? How do you expect them to be able to provide for themselves when the father's providing for them most of the time? And how do you expect for them to clean up after themselves? Make sure that they create the home for themselves when the mother's doing that for them. This is why these children end up doing what? They go to work, they come back from work, they have their own flat, right? And they come back from work, they go past their home, they eat there from their mother's kitchen, and then they ask father for money to pay some of the bills because they can't keep up with the expensive flat or apartment that they hired. Things like that. That kind of cycle goes on and on in many other families as well. And then you find these other families who don't have that opportunity, where the children are working hard to maintain themselves, to sustain themselves. They don't owe anybody anything. They don't owe anybody any karma. It might sound and look like, wow, this is hard, but you'll be good for it. That child is going to be good for it. There's no living off free here with someone else's energy. Even when you're a child, there's a point where you need to start learning to be taking care of yourself. And these parents, sometimes, I'm not telling people to parent. I'm not a parent, right? I'm talking programming, and I'm talking um, universal law. How you take it, how you take that shit and translate it into your own parental skills is your fucking problem. I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your kids. I'm telling you that you need to be mindful that you're not creating karma for your children. Ask yourself, what is it going to be like for my child if I die today with the way they are? Can you see them taking care of themselves? You know, people say shit like, I cannot die. My children will struggle if I die. They're afraid of dying, not because of what, but they're afraid of leaving their children behind because they know that their children will never be able to survive. And you think that they're talking about 2 year olds, 8 year olds. No, they're talking about teenagers. They're talking about teenagers. I can understand someone who has that uh, fear for the fact, in a sense of their children are still young. I can understand that. Yeah, you will have that fear. But I had to get over it because I said to Father, I'm not having children, not in this environment. I don't want to have children. But then he explained to me that it's not your job to take care of those children like that. Your job is to make sure that they eat, they sleep, they're good, they're healthy, whatever, as I guide you. As I guide you. And I just because of you're the parent, you're the mother, doesn't mean that you're the only one who's going to be guided into taking care of those children. I can guide somebody else to take care of your children. That is, there is a point where you're going to have to let go of these children and allow them to be connected to God, them on their own. Your children needs to be learning to connect to Father in their own capacity from an early age. Children needs to be taught to pray, to be taught that it's okay to talk to God. It's okay to, and children already do that naturally. Children already have this, God, can you please buy me a doll? They already live that way. And what happens? The so-called I'm a fucking mother and I'm a fucking father, they come in there, they tell the child you cannot talk to God like that. You know, you can't ask God for a doll. Or they say, don't talk to yourself. There's no one there. Stop. You know, they don't want children to play, some of them. But children are already like that. Children are already intuitive in that at that age, at that young age, they're already connecting and aligning. They're already aligning. But the parents are going to somehow stop that alignment because of now the child is not asking the father or the mother for a doll. The child is asking God himself for a doll, and they feel some type of way about it. And what they don't understand is what the child is asking for is still going to be them who's going to be providing the doll. Because the universe is going to inspire you as a father or as a mother to buy that child a doll. However, he inspires you. And you don't realize what a blessing it is for that child to ask for such things to God himself. Because what's going to happen? God is going to make sure that he provides for you the energy for you to be able to come to a point where you have the money for you to be able to spoil your children like that. Let your children bless you in that way. Allow your children to speak to God. Allow your children to dream big. Big. Don't stop them. I want an airplane. Let the child get the airplane. How they're going to get the airplane is none of your business until Father says, okay, now I'm going to make it your business. You're going to make sure you teach this child this. You're going to make sure that you get this child to school. You're going to make sure that she learns all these things, and you're going to make sure that she is set up in that way. When she becomes rich, she'll buy herself her own plane. Let them dream big. Don't, it's not your job. You're interfering. That's again, that law. You don't interfere with anyone else's spirit in any manner, including the fact that you would want to assist them in a way that you're not called to assist them, or have them assist you in a way that they're not called by the spirit themselves, by God, by Father, by the universe, by the spirit team to assist you in that way. Don't interfere. Whenever you have to do something, you have to ask yourself, is this within the laws of the universe? Is this what God would want me to do? That is the simplest question. Is this what God wants for me to do? And the first answer you get when you say no, just move away. Just say, I'm not in a position to help you. I'm sorry. And leave it at that. And don't feel fucking guilty about it. You don't need to help anybody. Move away. If you didn't hear right, Father will change your mind and say, you know what, go and help that person. And you go back and you help that person. And don't be scared of being wrong. Especially initially when you're aligning. You might get things wrong or right. Just don't be scared. Just keep going. You'll start getting your rhythm eventually. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You'll be like, hey, yeah, I was wrong. Okay, now I'm right. And then you find your rhythm where you know what that vibration feels like whenever God is saying yes, whenever God is saying no. You'll start feeling it. And no one is going to hold you to your mistakes. It's a learning process. It's a lesson for a reason. It's a karmic lesson for a reason. Lesson. You'll master it eventually. You'll master all these lessons and you'll move forward. I mean, some of them are no one is going to be perfect with them. You're going to learn your lesson based on what program you are, right? But eventually you master them and you're good. But your children, your job is to take care of them as guided by spirit. Make sure that they are well, make sure, but do not go too far. Some parents even go as far as buying passing, you know, to for their children to pass. They pay for their children to pass at school. What the fuck? What are you creating now? What is that? What do you want us? What do you want the world to do with such a child? What are we gonna do with that kind of a child? You're gonna be gone, and we're gonna be stuck with this program that cannot do anything with itself. The next thing it's doing is siphoning from everybody because of you never taught it to gain its own energy. You were busy trying to act like you're, I don't know. Some people pay people to steal other people's destiny because they don't feel like their children can make it on their own. That shit, that's karma. That's debt. You're going to pay for it. And the debt, how you pay for the debt is basically a lesson. Either way, whether you were wronged or the other person was wronged, you will pay for that lesson. And you know how your mother's gonna pay for that lesson when she dies? The mother's gonna pay for that lesson in spirit form. They will be in the spiritual world watching their children fucking struggle. You'll be watching that child. You think you can avoid it. You might avoid it in the physical, but once you get into the spirit world, you're gonna in heaven, if you do get to heaven, like I say, in heaven, there these people, they talk about the people in the physical, about their children. They're happy that their children are reaching milestones, that they had hoped for them to reach. They're happy about such things. But you're gonna be one of those people in heaven who's like, yo, my children are suffering. Yo, I wish I had done this for my children. You're gonna be one of those people. You're gonna be one of those people who's not happy, who wants to come back and try to help their children. Because of you failed to do that while you were in the physical. You thought you were doing a good job. And I get it. I get it. I do get it. Nobody knew this. Right? I didn't know this. I found out the fucking hard way, and I'm still finding out till today, this moment as I speak, that helping someone to carry their burdens is illegal. It's a bad thing. It's not something that you're supposed to be doing because you're not helping them and you're not helping yourself. In the long run, you're not helping anybody. And eventually, when karma reverses, you are going to learn a lesson. They're going to learn a lesson. And theirs is going to be harsh because they won't have the energy as well. They're going to be suffering. When I say energy, I don't mean energy just physical. I mean energy physically, spiritually, emotional, and everything. They'll be going through a hard life. They'll be sitting there watching their friends move forward because their parents didn't create the karmic debt for them. And your children will be sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I had learned how to cook. Oh my goodness, I wish I had learned how to clean. They'll be married to some husband who's expecting them to do all these things, and they're looking at them, it's like, what is this? They'll be feeling inadequate, insecure about themselves. You'll be watching them be ridiculed while you're in heaven, they're dead, because you never taught them that. What is so wrong about people using their own bloody fucking hands to do the job? I get it, you have money, you've got helpers, but you're paying them, right? You're paying them. It's reciprocated by you paying them. You work hard, you do all those things, you come back, you pay well, you pay your helpers well, you care, you make sure you don't oppress them, you know, you take care of their needs the way they take care of your needs. It's a it's a relationship that is flowing in a state of wellness. No one is stealing any energy from anybody between you and the helper. That's a good relationship. You continue with that. There's nothing wrong with you, because you're paying them. You might not be paying them by physically helping them to clean your house, but you're paying them to you're paying your debt by making sure that they're at least able to get something for the time and effort that they put into your life, and go and use that money to go and take care of their own families. So that is a good relationship like that. However, where you find people expecting people to do this sort of things, and they're not being paid well, they're being abused in those relationships, you're stealing energy, my dear. You're stealing energy, and you're going to pay for it. The karma knows. The universe knows. The universe sees everything. If you think you're doing it, then and someone is turning a blind eye, the universe sees. You're going to pay for that maid that you made feel some type of way, and you don't pay them, and you're expecting them to do far much more. You hired them as a maid, but then you want them to take care of your kids, you want them to take care of all these things that they're not being paid for, and you're just paying them measly amount. That is a lot of work. Someone managing someone else's home, it's a lot of work, especially if she's doing it alone. It's a lot of work. You need to pay them well. Otherwise, that energy, the rest of the money that you didn't pay them, the rest of the things that you didn't give to them, that deficit is going to come back to haunt you. It's going to come back to bite you in the ass. You're going to go one day and be like, oh, I want a nanny. And you're going to find that these nannies are not there anymore. You know why? Because of everybody's taking care of their own children. You know why? Because people are awake. You know why? Because these people who are awake are now walking in their power. And when they're working in their power, they won't feel the need to come and work for you. Yes, there are energies programs who are programmed for whatever they're programmed for, right? But then you find that in the physical, their recreational program, their recreational purpose is like helping people in that way, like becoming, like helping people by cleaning their homes, and or being cleaners in environments and stuff like that. It's part of who they are. It's it, but that doesn't mean you should be looking down on it. If according to me, that is to have somebody else be able, when you walk into your home and you find your home clean, you don't have to do all these things. You just have to cook, or even some of them have some cooking people who cooks, and you enjoy the food. You should be grateful. You should be so fucking grateful. But people are not. They're not, and they don't want. What I've noticed with people, I notice it with, even here in my home, with my uncle and my grandmother. They usually they have the attitude of, she's a helper. Like, they look down on the people. What they don't realize is there's going to be a day when those people are not going to be that many. It's like you will be hogging the available ones, because of you won't be able to afford them, because most of the people who are in that position today are being put in that position not because of they wanted to be, but they wanted to be something else. And once the environment starts vibrating higher, everybody else going into their role, you just might find that there's not many people who are willing to clean your home. There's not many people who are willing to be nannying your children. So you're going to have to change how you see things and how you view life. So all of a sudden, you don't have anyone taking care of your children. You don't want to have anyone to clean your home. Because why? Martha is now going and studying for her to become a doctor, or Martha is becoming a police officer. She's finally taking those steps to do what they need to do to be who they are, to step in their role. And you're gonna find yourself with a few people who are still in that, who their recreational purpose would be to help people like you. And guess what? They're gonna be very expensive. I said to Father, I don't want to be cold. How the heck am I going to clean this? Father's like, don't worry about that. But in my head, I'm like, I don't want to be disturbed by a cleaner. I have that. I don't know. I just have that. Whoever's going to be helping me in the home, it's going to have to be a family kind of a person. Not, I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to be have to be my family. I'm just saying that it's going to have to be someone who's going to have to develop a family type of a relationship. She can't just be someone. She's going to have to be someone who's going to be part of the family, or in a good way, in a more comfortable way, in a way that this person will also be gaining from us and we will be gaining from them. It cannot be just anyone. And I think that kind of position is actually like a very sensitive position. You have these people managing your bedrooms and managing your kitchens, and with the life that I've lived and what I've seen these fragmenters do, my bed itself had been uh, uh, what they did is my sister came one day. All of a sudden she wants to clean the house. We have to clean, we have to clean. I had no idea. This person was putting something in the, some sort of, I don't know if she put something in the water or she was making a spell of some kind, where the house was being put into some sort of a, as she was cleaning, in some sort of a spell. And when they siphoned, they were siphoning from my bed as well, because she insisted on moving the bed, moving the, let's clean up the mattresses and stuff. I don't know what she did, but if wherever I slept, I would feel like needles on my body because of the siphoning from my whole body while I was sleeping. And you have these people managing your homes like that, and you're just gonna let anybody go in there, right? That's what she did. And she's not a cleaner, but she came from her boyfriend's home just for that one weekend, that one day. She did that and she left. And as soon as she left, I just knew. And there was like a smell as well of some kind. So I think she was putting some sort of a muti or witchcraft stuff. And that's what happened to me. I itched even more. The things that the itches that used to were going down, they came up again. They came back again. They were stronger again. So she was reapplying her muti. The clothing, the washing, the laundry as well. These people were using my laundry. She was doing it to my laundry. They were siphoning me from the clothes that I'm wearing. Your clothes, the soap that they do some witchcraft on your soap, on your laundry soap, the your toiletry, the things that you put on yourself, they do some witchcraft on them. And this is not a nanny or a helper, a cleaner in the house. This is my own sister doing that. But imagine if you had someone accessing your home who is not part of, I was done those things too by my family, my own family. So it's very easy for these type of people to also come in with that kind of energy around you, most especially for somebody like me. But if somebody tries that shit, I know how this works. Before the cops get to you, or before whoever it is that has to help you, I'll make sure I fragment you and defragment you so much that before you leave, you'll be fine. I'm not going to let her go away. If somebody tries that shit, that's why I'm like, I don't want just anybody. I'm not the type who will be like, I'll keep her and make sure karma gets her while I'm watching her. It's not gonna be that easy for some karmic person to come and work for me. Because fragmentation will be running wire in my home. Fragmentation and defragmentation will be running always. So you can't come into that kind of an area with that kind of energy of karma, of karmic, low vibrational, whatever. Even if you came in with a low vibrational, but you're gonna have to pick that shit up. But we were talking about interfering with the universal laws. It's not our job to help people unless you're being guided to help someone. It's not your job. It's not their job to help you. You shouldn't be expecting someone to help you. I remember when I was very, very, very young, man. I was just coming into this planet. I think maybe maybe 5 or so. I was a child. And there's this guy who comes through and he's carrying plastic bags, like shopping plastic bags. And they are heavy. You can see that he's taking a break. He's walking and putting them down and taking a break. It's a guy. He's going home. And somebody came, and I think it was my grandfather. It was me and my grandfather. My grandfather was like, let me help you carry them. The guy said, no, it's my burden. Don't worry, I'll carry it, but thank you. How he said it was beautiful. He said, no, it's my, in Sotho, he said it in Sotho. He said, ke morwalo wa ka, ke tla you know, care, but ke a leboga, right? Meaning it's my sort of like not luggage, but my baggage in a sense. It's my things. I will carry them, but thank you. That's what he was saying to him, right? My grandfather knew what that guy was saying, and I got a sense that my grandfather recognized the behavior in the sense like, oh yeah, yeah, oh okay, like like, okay, it's fine, because that's how they used to live before. He was surprised though that there's still people who applied the universal law when they were living. He remembered that yes, it's not allowed to be helping someone to carry like that. Like, had he helped him carry those bags, it's a karmic debt. Just a simple thing like, let me help you carry your baggage, let me help you carry your luggage, let me help you carry your plastic bags, is a karmic debt. But my grandfather recognized it. And I asked fathers, like, why doesn't he want him to help him? Father's like, no, because he knows that he doesn't want to create karmic debt. And my grandfather respected that. But I could sense that my grandfather was wowed. That, oh my goodness, there's still people who live like that. Wowed in a good way. In a good sense of, wow. Like, I still remember those times. Like, there's still people like him. And we take that for granted, right? You want people to fetch you water, to do all these things for you. You don't realize that you're creating debt. You're making this person work for nothing. And what happens with it is you're gonna pay karmic debt. And now I just spoke about this thing now. I know why I'm speaking about it, because my grandmother is waking up and going to the bedroom, to the living room. What she used to do, she used to ask my grandfather, the very same grandfather that I was with when we met this man, to always fetch him water, to always fetch her water. She refuses to get up. She had this laziness about her. She still does it. How is she paying for it now? Guess how? She cannot walk because of she used to sit too long. She cannot do anything for herself. She has to pay for people to come and look after her. I'm currently working to take care of her. But it is because I'm still living in their home. I'm paying my debt in that way, my debt back in that way. So um, it's not a debt yet because of I'm helping. I'm putting something back into them, putting something into me. But they owe me still, in a sense of I'm here because of in their accord. Actually, how I understand it, I don't owe them. They owe me. They're gonna owe me even after leaving here because they put me in the situation. I wasn't supposed to be here. They did something for me to end up here. So I'm using their resources for free. But what I do for them is a karmic debt. What I do for them while I'm in this environment is a karmic debt on them. But I'm getting that my uncle noticed that and tries to balance it out by trying to give me things that he feels like it's sort of like payment towards the karmic debt that he's creating. He's smart because he's the only one who sees where this shit is ending. He sees it very well. He's trying to get out of it, but he can't. He's too wrapped up in it. They are all trying to get out of it, but they can't. It's too far. It's late. It's too late. So now everything that she does is a debt. And besides that, the more I do for her, or the more her son does for her, the more she's going to pay for it. She's going to be energetically bankrupt very soon. Because I see her. She's waking up more and more late. Today she woke up, apparently she woke up, I think she woke up around maybe 10 or 11. Sometimes she wakes up around 12. Um, but yeah, it gets heavier and heavier. Simple things. Get up, go get yourself your own water. God gave you two legs for a reason. This is why you find Asian grandmothers sometimes they don't get that old because of they might be they don't get that slow because they still move. They still do things. They still working even in their old age. You find so many communities, not just Asian grandmothers, but so many rural type of people in rural communities who still get up and do their own things. Even for the family, they still wake up early in the morning and cook breakfast for family. That movement, that doing something for others when they do something for you, is you are not living on this planet on debt, in this universe on debt. You're not you're not interfering with other people's uh, spirits in that way because your program is running itself for itself. You're not asking some other program to fetch you water. You're not interfering in that way because when you do that, you're creating friction in the system. You're creating friction, and that friction creates heat loss. And that heat loss, the universe is like, oh, wait, there's a heat loss over there. What's happening? Oh, program A is asking program B to fetch them water, and program B is getting water. So program B is using their energy to get program A water. So program A owes program B energy for that water. That's what is happening in the system. You think this is what I'm saying? The universe knows. Every time you interfere with someone else's spirit in that way, every time you ask somebody to help you and you are helped by that person, you're creating friction in the system, and that friction creates heat loss, and that heat loss, the system knows. I am overheating. Why? Because of every person in this planet is busy doing fragmentation and is busy doing interfering with any other program. It's not our job to help. I couldn't believe it when I heard that myself. I was like, no ways. I've been living all my life doing this. Father says it's not right. You were creating friction in the system yourself. You were creating energy loss in the system yourself. You were overheating the system yourself. I had to learn that hard way. I had to go through that karmic lesson. And here I am, still going through that karmic lesson. But I'm learning, right? I'm learning, and there's probably more for me to learn. But if you think about it, people will be like, there's no way we can't live on this planet without helping each other. What. That's the bullshit that the system, this current system that's been running here, that is the power systems that have been running here, made you or led you to believe. They did that for a purpose, because they knew releasing that energy, when you create that friction and you release that energy, they themselves go and grab that energy. And they do what? They grab the energy, they use it for themselves. They grab that energy, they get richer. And you guys are going around complaining, oh, the 1% are getting richer and the rest of us are getting poor. What do you think they? How do you think they're getting energy to work all these things? How do you think somebody has energy to run 10 companies? And then some, and then other things. How do you think that person has energy to still have to fly to some remote areas and have some very long nice holidays while they're running companies after companies after? Where do you think they get that energy to do that? Where do you think these people that you see on TV who have 3 type businesses, they're still able to go to the Bahamas for a holiday, or 3, 4, 5 holidays in a year? I can't even take one holiday. You can't even take one holiday. Not because of you cannot afford it, but sometimes it's like there's no time. And you can't afford it because of you don't have energy to make enough money to afford it. How do you think these people get that money? How do you think these people get ideas to create these businesses? That's energy. An idea is an energy. How do you think they do that? Where do you think they get that energy from? What do you think is different between you and them? If you allow someone to use your energy to benefit them, don't be surprised tomorrow when they are driving a Benz and you're still walking in your 2 Series, and ask yourself, how is it that they are getting by, they are succeeding? Because they're not just stealing your energy, they're asking someone else's energy as well, somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else. And they're putting that together and they're creating things for them. Oh, please take care of my child. Where are they at the time when they're supposed to be taking care of their children? Where are they? I'm working, right? I'm going to work, take care of my child. You take care of that child, they're not paying you for it. They're getting ahead at work. You looking after their children. Do they come back and pay you? No, they don't. And what happens tomorrow? They succeed. You're not following your dreams. You're busy taking care of other people's children. They are busy building worlds because why? They're using your energy. The energy that they were supposed to be taking care of their children with, they're using that to build themselves up, while you use your energy to take care of their children. And are you getting paid for it accordingly? Not necessarily. Most of the time, it's not the case. Because if you were, you would not be able to take care of that child for too long. You will be taking care of that child, and then if you have other dreams, you'll be using the money to build your other dreams. And soon enough, you'll be like, you know what, ma'am, I can't take care of your child. I have finished my studies. I got a job. I'm going to move into that job. But they won't. They won't give you enough money, because they know if you give you enough money, you won't be working for them for too long. If you have aspirations to become something else, if it's who you are, it's who you are. You're not gonna go right. But if it's not who you are, You will do that and you pay for your studies, and then soon after you'll leave. So, interfering with the universal laws. One universal law is that it's illegal for you to live off anyone else's energy. You shouldn't be asking people to help you. You should just ask the universe to help you. Ask Father to help you. That is, ask God. If you know your spirit team, ask your spirit team. Ask your guardian angels, whoever is assigned to your program to assist you in this life is the one who's supposed to be helping you. Where you need to help someone else, you will be guided. You will ask, can I do this? Should I do this? If you feel okay to do it, you will do it. And normally what the universe does is, I don't remember when, but I remember Father used to be like, yeah, you can do that. They will pay you back by doing something else. There was a scenario like that when, I think it's this scenario here, when I'm here. There was something where I was like, do I help? Father was like, you can, but no, it was not here. It's something that I felt I could do. And Father said something like they're already doing it for you, even though they owe you. I think it was here. But many times you will find that when the universe checks for you, they'll be like, okay, that person owes you already, or that person can pay you back by doing this. Like if it's balanced, if you're not sure, right? Because I wasn't sure for a very long time. What is the like? How do I reciprocate what I'm doing for them and how they reciprocate what they're doing for me? And you learn about such things, and you will see because when they do something for you, especially from a karmic point of view, and the people like I live with, they know that they can use that to siphon your energy with. But you can balance that out. I know how to balance it out now because what I do is I um, transmute it. What do they call? I alchemize it. I alchemize the energy from their torments. I balance myself out by creating something with it. So yes, you will need to be mindful in the beginning, but eventually we will all get used to it. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm worse because I'm so used to helping. So I'm very bad. I was very bad at it. I'm getting better, but every time I have to ask Father if somebody wants me to do something, and I'm asking Father, is this a good idea? I'll normally feel like no or yes, but because of I'm able to know how to alchemize it or how to balance that energy out, it's easier for me now. But before it wasn't. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a practice that you get into eventually once you decide that you're not going to do it anymore, because you have to realize that you're creating a debt. And this is sometimes the reason why you're so tired, because people are stealing energy from you and you don't realize it, because you keep doing things for people that are just draining you. You're not leaving anything for yourself. There's no need for you to do that. You're not allowed to help anybody unless Spirit says you're going to go to this place, you're going to do this for this specific person. The universe knows how to balance it out because it's going to return to you in some way. That energy that you spend on that person or in that environment is going to be returned to you in some way. That's how the universe is going to pay you back. If they ask you to assist someone, oh yeah, go and help that child. Oh yeah, go and help that man. Oh yeah, go and help that woman. Things like that. Yes, help your child, help your son, help your mother, help your Those type of things, when you're guided towards them, they work better because the universe has already done their calculation and said, how is the mother going to, to help this daughter back? How is the mother going to pay back? Oh, the mother's going to pay back by making sure that she eats well every day, her doing her laundry and all of those type of things. You need to be mindful of those things going forward. That people are not just doing things for you out of no reason. And you mustn't also like allow people to do things for you. You must just do your things, do learn to do things for yourself. Not just for the sake of practice that you know how to, but also for the sake of you gaining energy, because you also gain energy when you build for yourself, when you create for yourself, you gain more energy. When you use your own energy to create yourself something, which is maybe you creating yourself a clean clothes or clean house or whatever, you gain more energy for it because you're using that energy back into yourself. Because what you will get is you're gonna live in a nicer home, a cleaner home. You're gonna dress well. You're gonna dress well, clean clothes. You're gonna feel well. When you start feeling well because of you've been spending time and your energy into your own self by pouring into yourself, you feel well. That feeling well is energy. That's how you got yourself paid by the universe. That's how you pay yourself by doing things for yourself, is that you end up feeling better, you end up being better, you don't feel so sick, you don't feel so tired, because you are in an environment, in a space that is conducive for you to be well. And you did it yourself. You didn't owe it to somebody else to do it for you. You did it yourself, so you're keeping your own energy. You're creating using your own energy to build for you, and you're even getting more energy for yourself because of you living in a well environment. When they say cleanliness is next to God, I got to see that. You should see the people who are not well. When I say not well, I'm not talking about physical wellness, but who are always having some sort of chaos in their life or mental issues of some kind or stress of some kind, that is. Watch what happens to them. Watch where they live. Watch how they live. Or people who just don't have that mojo to move and do things. Watch how they live. You'll find that their environment is very cluttered or dirty or something. And I'm not talking about you being a compulsive what cleaning every day or something like that. I'm talking about having balance, a balanced way of living. You don't have to clean every day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying be balanced for yourself, because some people need a clean house every day. Some people don't need a clean house every day, and that's fine. But learn to do things for yourself. Be mindful. Are you doing enough to pay back your husband for the good things that they do for you? Or are you creating a karmic debt? What happens if that husband leaves you? Will you manage to be able to do those things? There are some people who don't even know how to put petrol in their cars. They don't even know how much petrol costs. And then they divorce, and then they find out that, yeah, I want everything. There's a story of this woman. I was told by this colleague of mine, of a friend of hers, who had this man who used to make her like, treat her like a princess or something. But what happened with this man, this woman got involved with some group of women who used to marry and divorce for money. She thought she could do that because I don't know how she felt like that was a good idea when her and her husband were like, maybe her husband was cheating or something, and she thought she could do that to him. The guys, she went to court. The woman said, I want everything. The guy said, sure, 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 have everything. The man done left. The woman done left with a house, a car, cars, everything. She was happy for 2 minutes, and then she finds out it's hard to keep the house. It's hard to keep the car. Like, she never used to put in petrol into those big cars. Now she has to put petrol in those big cars, despite the fact that the husband is still paying her some is it alimony or something like that. That money is not stretching enough. It's not enough. Guess what she had to do now? She had to go and find another man to supplement that. I was like, you not say. She's like, yo. She had to go there because she refuses to downgrade from the home. They lived in some nice, fast, expensive suburbs. She refuses to, and now the cars, the man left her with cars. The cars are getting, they were older already. Like they were new for some, obviously a car after 3 years is 3 years, 5 years, it's old. So now those cars, as much as they were nice, big Land Rovers and whatnot, it's time for their what is it, renewal or getting a new one or something like that. She can't afford that. The husband would have done that for her. She has to live off the money that she wants from the husband, which the husband gladly pays. But in between paying for the cars, the petrol, the maintenance on the cars, the insurances, the everything, that money that she gets from the man, as much as I think she was getting a lot of money, like 20,000s or 30,000s at that time, it was a long time ago, that money was not enough. And the man just like, oh yeah, yeah, of course you'll get everything. She didn't ask herself why. She found out after why. The husband was like, yippee, I don't have to deal with this old shit. That is the old home, the old cars. I can just leave her with everything, right? And paid off, by the way. They're all paid off, but she maintains, to maintain them is a mission. To maintain them is expensive. They're all paid off. The guy was like, ooh, I'm done. He went and started off with some other woman in some nice small flat somewhere. He no longer has to maintain the big life. He was struggling. He didn't say. When this woman gave her a way out, he was like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'll pay for the alimony. It's cheap. It's cheaper, according to him. He left even his car there. Ish, yeah, life. Now she's finding out after the fact that that man was doing way more. This is why he felt like this woman was siphoning from him. And this is why I'm not excusing the behavior of cheating. That's not what I'm doing. But I can tell that that's most probably how he relieved the tension on his shoulders by trying to find a life that wasn't complicated outside his normal life. That's how he coped, or he thought he could cope. I'm not excusing cheating. I'm just saying shit happens in life. You wonder why. Sometimes it's just a very simple reason. Most times, actually. It's just that people try to make it complicated, and it's never complicated. You're busy siphoning from someone. You're not bringing the rest of you. It's like, it's not to say that she wasn't taking care of the kids and all of that, but expectations of things that the husband was working way too hard for in order to keep her happy wasn't necessary. Was a big house and in the big suburbs and the big cars and whatnot necessary to put someone under that kind of pressure, to go to a point where he has to feel like he has to cheat in order to go and release or relieve his stress, that he wasn't even happy in that relationship in the first place. Who knows? But he obviously wasn't. A man who just says divorce and he's like, oh yeah, and then they say I want everything, he's like, of course. It must have been like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm so lucky. But yeah, it happens. Anyway, the other law other than interfering like with, it's basically the same law. It's one law. Don't live off anyone. It's illegal to live off anyone else's energy, but it's also like when you're interfering as well with universal law. That's how you interfere with universal. There's many ways to interfere with universal law, and I think I will have to do some sort of exploration of that, of the many ways that people interfere with. Maybe it will be my next one. Many ways that people interfere with universal laws. It's actually one law, but it feels like it's many. It's not that it's many, it's just that it can be broken in so many ways. And the way we've been living, it's basically interfering with universal law. Anyway, I think that's it.